They say history is written by the winners, but sometimes it's printed on a game board. In the early 1900s, a young woman named Lizzie sat at her kitchen table with scissors, cardboard, and a mission. She wasn't trying to entertain anyone. She was trying to warn them. Her name was Lizzie Maggie, and what she created wasn't just a game. It was a message, a protest, a mirror held up to society. Lizzie was a writer, an inventor, and a fierce believer in economic justice. She followed the teachings of Henry George, an economist who argued that land monopolies, where a few people controlled most of the property, were the root of inequality. So she set out to create something that could teach his ideas in a way anyone could understand. The result? The landlord's game. It had railroads, taxes, utilities, and yes, properties you could buy. Players moved around the board collecting rent, paying penalties, and watching the rich get richer. But Lizzie didn't stop there. Her game had two sets of rules. One rewarded wealth hoarding. The other promoted equal wealth distribution. She wanted players to experience both systems and see the difference. I'd like to see the difference. I'm always a loser at this game. You know what game I'm talking about yet? It wasn't about fun. It was about truth. In 1904, she patented the game herself. A remarkable act for a woman at that time. She published it through a small company and watched it slowly spread. Not through toy stores, but through word of mouth. Activists, academics, and progressive communities shared homemade copies and customized versions. The game was evolving, changing hands, changing names, and changing shape. Over the years, its message warped. The original purpose was forgotten, and it became something entirely different. A competitive race to bankrupt your opponents. By the 1930s, during the depths of the Great Depression, a down-on-his-luck man played a homemade version at a friend's house. He saw dollar signs. He took the idea, gave it a new name, and pitched it to a major toy company. He didn't invent the concept. He didn't understand the original intent. But he marketed it well. The company loved it. America was hungry for escapism. People couldn't afford rent in real life, but they could buy Boardwalk in a fantasy. The game was a hit. They slapped the man's name on the box. He became famous. He actually became rich. And the woman who invented the game? She watched as her creation, meant to expose greed, became a celebration of it. For decades, her name was buried. The myth of a struggling man creating the game from scratch endured. But the truth was always there, hidden in patent filings and library records. It would take nearly 80 years for Lizzie's story to resurface. Through journalists, historians, and a few determined fans who followed the breadcrumbs. Today, her legacy is slowly being restored. Because without Lizzie Maggie, there is no Monopoly. She didn't invent the game to entertain families on Friday nights. She invented it to shake them awake. But fate is a strange thing. What was meant to open eyes ended up in millions of closets around the world, tucked between puzzles and party games. And yet, even hidden, her message lives on. Every time someone lands on Boardwalk, groans at income tax, or declares bankruptcy to a 10-year-old landlord. Sometimes, even when the story gets rewritten, the truth finds a way to pass go. This has been Twist of Fate Radio. I'm Angela Clark. Until next time, remember, sometimes the smallest choices lead to the biggest consequences. Want to explore more stories like this? Visit twistoffateradio.com. There you can read more details about this story and others like it. Plus, you can submit your own Twist of Fate story to be considered for a future episode. You never know what twist of fate is coming next.